Fanboy Friday with Robert Miguel on UvaldeRadio.net.
Happy Friday. It's Robert Miguel here with Fanboy Friday. It makes a noise. Kicking off the weekend with some movie reviews and previews, to help you decide how to spend your hard-earned money if you're going to go to the movie theater, or maybe just going to kick back and watch some Netflix. Now, so we used to do a movie review segment here, and we haven't done that for quite some time. Actually, ever since the pandemic. We lost our movie reviewer partner, Mr. Mark Walters, out of Dallas, Texas, at bigfanboy.com. So we love our past work with him, but he is no longer available. So I don't even know who we're going to settle into as a full-time, co-host. But right now, I do have my number one lady on the phone joining me for Fanboy Friday movie reviews and previews. Please welcome Cory Brooks.
Hey.
Hey, Cory. Thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah.
So it's Fanboy Friday, which means we're just going to talk about movies for, 15, 20, 30 minutes. If it's super interesting, it'll go super long. If there's not much to talk about, it might be short and sweet. So it just kind of depends on what's out there. So, again, talking about movies that are in theaters, movies that are coming to theaters, maybe new releases on Netflix, whatever comes to mind. So let's get right into it. Fanboy Friday is presented by the Forum 6 Theater in Uvalde, and showing this week at the Forum 6, Mean Girls, rated PG-13, Migration, rated PG, Night Swim, rated PG-13, and The Beekeeper, rated R. So we're going to talk about each one of those films as they are the new releases showing in Uvalde, and that's where we are. And, Cory, you're over in Sabinal, right?
I am, yes.
So people at Sabinal, do they come to Uvalde to watch the movies, or do they go to San Antonio?
I go to Uvalde.
The correct answer, ding, 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 is Uvalde at the Forum 6 Theater. So thanks to Bobby Cervantes and the Forum 6 crew for being real good to us. If you show up to Uvalde Radio events, you can score some some Forum 6 movie passes generally, right, most of the time?
Yeah, you usually have them.
Yeah, those usually go over real well. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about, I wanted to, first of all, touch on, because this is kind of a new segment for a brand new year, but I did kind of want to acknowledge the top movies of 2023. So first of all, Cory, did you go to the movies a lot in 2023?
I went a few times. I went a few times with you, actually.
I got to say, I'm kind of a movie buff. I'm big into movies. I like them a lot, but I would probably say 2023 was the year that I saw the least amount of movies actually in the theater. And I think that we're talking about this before. I think partly because my daughter is now 17 and she doesn't like Disney movies like she used to. And, we used to go to all the Disney, all the DC and all the Marvel. And, that keeps you pretty busy. But you know what? The DC and Marvel stuff has been kind of stinkers lately, right? And, and Disney's super woke. So we've been doing that less. And then I guess, the economy's kind of tough, so it's hard to get that extra money to go. And then, ever since the pandemic, I just haven't been in the habit of going to the theater. So hopefully we're gonna learn more about movies with this new segment, and then maybe we'll spend more time in the theater, right? I'd
like to, because that was really nice, those loungers in that theater at Forum 6.
Oh yeah, especially Forum 6 with their full comfy recliners. I'll be honest, the last movie we saw, I took a bit of a cat nap in the middle of one of those films. So I won't say which one, because it was a good movie. I was just really relaxed. So anyway, domestic box office results for 2023. We're just going to go over the top 5 movies of 2023, and you tell me whether you've seen these movies or not, and if you have any notes on them. Coming in at number 5 for 2023, Oppenheimer. Did you see Oppenheimer?
I did not.
I didn't either. I wanted to. It was one of those movies that I was like, I got to see that. I got to see it. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's seen it, and I never even saw it. So we've got no opinion on it. But I will get around to seeing it in streaming, or maybe second run. I don't know. Coming in 4th place for 2023, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Did you make it out to see that one?
Yes, we saw that one.
Okay. Did we all see that together?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That was a good one. I mean, I liked it. I don't think I liked it as much as the other two, but it was, for a year where all the DC and Marvel stuff tended to underperform, it was one of the best of those comic book franchise movies. So everybody talks about this comic book movie fatigue. Are you tired of DC and Marvel movies personally?
I don't go to a lot of them, but if they come on after the fact, when they come on Netflix or whatever, I do like to watch them.
So we talked about this before, I think, when I first met you. You're one of those annoying people that doesn't mind watching movies out of order, aren't you?
I don't care what order. And I can know, like, I don't even, spoilers don't bother me. Somebody can tell me the whole movie, I'm still going to want to watch it and play out.
I mean, spoilers don't bother me that much, but I need to see a movie in the order it's intended. I just have to see it in the order of release. Even if it's a prequel, you know what I mean, or a sixquel, whatever you want to call it. I'm just kind of like really OCD that way. So, like, if part 4 comes out and I didn't see part 1, 2, and 3, before I go see part 4, I will find a way to watch the first 3. It's just, I can't do it. I can't do it otherwise. It's crazy. But it was good. I thought it was good. It was not as good as the other ones, but it was a nice bookend. I think was a good way to finish out what they're saying would be the last Guardians of the Galaxy feature film. So, good times.
Right.
Number 3 for 2023 was Spider-Man Across the Universe. Did you get out to see that one?
Did we see? I don't think I saw that one.
That was that super crazy animated one?
No, I did not.
Yeah, with all those, it was really, really good. I think a lot of people saw that one, so I won't go too much into it. If you like Spider-Man, you probably saw it. It was, man, the animation is just, the style is beautiful. The cast, the voice cast is great. The story was great. It was just fantastic. I would go see that again.
Well,
I should go see it again.
That makes me want to go see it then.
Definitely got to see it.
I just from the animation, just from the look of it, I wasn't that interested. But you telling me that it's that good, because I do like the Spider-Man movies.
But you got to watch the. Remember, this is the animated new animated version. So be sure and see the first one, guys. That's a second out of a series. Okay, so be sure to see the first one first. All right, in second place for 2023, Super Mario Brothers movie. Did you go out and see that one?
I did not.
Man, Chris Pratt was in there, and some other cool people. I wasn't expecting much because that one that came out, that Super Mario Brothers movie back in the old days, was, I guess, early 90s with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. That's kind of gone down in history as one of the worst movies ever made, as far as like based on a video game. And it was not good. It was bad then. It's bad now. There's nothing redeeming about that movie at all. The Super Mario Brothers movie, this was animated, and it was beautiful. It was fantastic. Everything about it was cool. Had a lot of fan service. If you play the games, there was a lot of cool stuff. And then you go, Koopa, the villain, voiced by Jack Black. Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so really, really cool movie. That was second place. Made a ton of money. And the number 1 movie for 2023, how about that girl power? Barbie. Did you go see Barbie, Corey?
I did not.
I'm surprised. You're a girly girl. I figured that'd be something you'd be into.
So, I collect Barbies. I've been collecting Barbies for years and years and years. And I saw the trailer. I saw some snippets, and I just didn't want to go see it. I don't know why. It didn't do it for me.
So I'm kind of the opposite. I wanted to see it. It looked interesting. I kind of was. I don't care squat about Barbie, but I remember ever since they put out Toy Story and Barbie's had little kind of scenes, you know what I mean? They spiked her in there as a Mattel doll, and I always thought it was a really nice addition to Toy Story. So, having that, I've got kids that have all grown up on Toy Story movies, and I've got 2 daughters. I've seen my share of Barbies. I thought it was well cast. I think they looked good. It looked kind of neat. But it was all the talk about being woke and kind of feminist and all the male bashing kind of thing. That kind of turned me off. That's what kept me from seeing it. So I don't really have. I can't say yay or nay. Obviously, everybody went, but I think Barbie was more or less a movie that people went to because it was a trend. Like, it was just the movie to see. I don't think. And again, I have no idea because I haven't seen it. But nobody's told me, like, oh my God, it's just so much more amazingly deep than you'd expect, or the writing was superb, or any, you know what I mean? I think it was just everybody put on pink for a month and went and saw Barbie. It just kind of became a thing. Does that make sense?
It was way more about the hype and the marketing.
Yeah.
Than I think the quality probably.
And then and again, I'm not taking anything away from Morgan. What's her name? Margot Robbie. I think she's fantastic. She's certainly easy to look at. So, again, I still kind of want to see it, but I am so tired of, like, the male bashing and the emasculating, you know what I mean, storylines. And
I do.
So that's what kept me away from it. But anyway, that's your top 5 movies of 2023. Number 1, Barbie. Number 2, Super Mario Brothers movie. Number 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And number 5, Oppenheimer. And now we're in a brand new year, 2024. What movies have you seen this year so far in theaters as of this year, Cory Brooks?
Aquaman,
okay.
The new Aquaman.
We saw that together. I liked it a lot. I've also seen one more movie which was Wonka. So let's unpack that one because I've seen that one and you have not, as I understand. Dude, Wonka was awesome. If you haven't seen Wonka yet, and I know unfortunately it's no longer showing at the Forum 6 here locally in Uvalde, but it is a fantastic movie. I mean, the new Wonka kid is amazing. He does just such a fantastic job of embodying. So Wonka is a prequel to, I guess, the original story. So it's a young Willy Wonka before he owns his chocolate factory, and he's kind of trying to make his way in the world, and it's a great origin story. Music's really good. It's got lots of throwbacks, a lot of fan service that I like. Hugh Grant plays the one and only Oompa Loompa, and I've got this thing. I'll say it. Let me rephrase that. I don't got a thing for Hugh Grant, but Hugh Grant is like a guilty pleasure for me. I just love his kind of, English stutter and his nervous, you know what I mean? Like every Christmas, I gotta watch Love Actually. It's just one of my favorite Christmas movies. I mean, what he was in, like 4 Weddings and a Funeral, right? And what was that movie? Mickey Blue Eyes. Oh man, so many great movies, man. So he was welcome to see it, but I thought it was just a fantastic prequel. So if you haven't seen Wonka, definitely get out and see that one. It is worth the money and worth the time, and it's a beautiful movie too. And again, I forget the name of the guy who plays Wonka, but he's kind of a new big deal, and he is spectacular. So we both did see
the trailer for that.
Yeah,
I wanted to go see it because I'm a huge fan of the original. Nothing against Johnny Depp, but that one was just weird, and the original was so good, and it's just in my heart for all my life because I grew up on it.
Yeah,
and this kid, I'm glad that they went with let's do a Gene Wilder.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Yeah, it has a Gene Wilder. He definitely tips his hat to Gene Wilder. But I also feel like if you're like the next gen and you grew up on the Johnny Depp version, I feel like it's close enough to that too, because it's neither Gene nor Johnny. He's got kind of his own thing, but he has certain nods to both, which I think is really cool, and I think it's pretty genius to be able to pull that off, if that makes any sense. So again, I've got a 17-year-old daughter who saw it with me, and of course I grew up on the old version. She grew up on the newer version, and we both like both of them, but she loved it just as much as me. And it's a really heartwarming story. Like there's lots of feels, lots of good feel goods, and it takes you for a ride. And another thing I appreciate about it is that it's not as they don't rely on the CGI like they did in the Johnny Depp version quite so much. Like it feels a little bit more organic and real, if that makes any sense. But there is still plenty of SFX in there. So anyway, that's our take on my take on Wonka, and let's go talk about Aquaman because we both did see that the new Aquaman. Jason, first of all, Corey, you're our lady. Jason Momoa, that's his name, right? The guy from Game of Thrones. Are you in it? Is he hunked? Do you dig him? I know you like guys with long hair, so
I'm kind of over him.
Yeah.
It's a bummer because if I get to know too much about certain people, it sways my.
There's no more mystery.
Even with the movie, because I'm looking at them going, I'm seeing Jason Momoa, I'm not seeing Aquaman. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Now, tell me this, though. Was it me, or is Jason Momoa not as in good a shape as he used to be?
I don't think he is. I don't think he is.
I don't think he took off his shirt once. I think they were covering up a lot of bulk. Personally, I don't know. I feel like I've seen him way more cut and defined looking as far as, you know what I mean? His physique.
His face didn't look right. His face even looks a little puffier, I think.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird. So anyway, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And I think they did it. I think it was definitely the best DC movie that I've seen. Not that I don't remember how many DC movies actually came out this year. And then, of course, there was all the drama with, what's her name? Amber Heard, right? Johnny Depp's ex. Speaking of Johnny Depp.
Yes.
So she kind of got canceled of sort. And we talked about this off air. Did it feel like they took her out and maybe just kind of drew her back in? Because she was in there, and she was in there enough to say that she had a part. But because of all that underwater digitizing and effects, it didn't really look like her. I mean, I would buy it if somebody just said they rendered her. but she had enough lines to where I feel like they had to use her. I don't know. Do you think they just? I remember reading the story months ago because that movie's been pushed back, right, for release for a while. Do you know the story on that? Did they take her out, or was it just? Did they minimize her role? Do you know the input on that?
I think they minimized it greatly. A lot of it seemed CGI to me, and that's what I mean. Also, like, I loved the movie. Once we got past all the weird, because there was some weird stuff in it, and I think the weirdness came from all the media and all the publicity and all the negativity of the actual actors, which I think was, it was a bummer because the movie itself was great, but the drama with the actors kind of took away from it. And
well, you don't want to go see a movie whenever the like what happened with Flash. You find out a guy's a scumbag. You don't want to spend your $10 on that guy, and you run into those problems. That's the whole thing about being canceled, So, I mean, it's a tough to fine line, I guess. But overall, I mean, the movie was good. I felt like it took a little while to get to the beef of the story, but I feel like it finished really strong. And the other guy, the blonde guy that played the other Aquaman, the brother, I forget his name. I should have wrote it down before this, but he's solid. I like that cat a lot. So, and I hope that he gets his own Aquaman movie spinoff because he looks more like the 70s Justice League animated, Super Friends, Aquaman, floating around on a seahorse that I grew up with. So,
if I had done it, if it had been me writing this, because I know that they went with Jason because Jason's the big star.
Yeah.
But I would have, and I don't want to spoil or anything, but in the scene with the staff, where it was the choice between good and evil, right there, because Jason didn't want to be king.
Yeah.
Right there, I would have handed it over and said, do this and do it for the right reasons.
Right.
It for good, not bad. And I would have handed it over and been the solid right-hand man for my brother who did want to be king, as long as he was going to do it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it yet there, I don't know if you could keep, but I know what you mean. I don't know that many of the listeners that haven't seen it will see where you're going with that. But, first of all, I still have not 100% bought into Jason Momoa even being Aquaman because, he's just a woke, I guess, minority pick. It's like nowadays you can't just pick the guy that they drew in the 70s. You have to go the exact opposite. That's just the rule, with these movies nowadays. And it's kind of frustrating because, like what if they did that to Barbie? Barbie was huge. But imagine if they'd have made Barbie something else than a Caucasian blonde, right? It would have been outrage and it wouldn't have done as well. So even though diversity is cool and it's fine, people want to see what they expect, and they will come out and spend lots of money if you get them what they expect or what that character has traditionally been. I know I went on a tangent there, but anyway. Point is, Aquaman, we liked it. Y'all go see it. So let's talk about what's coming out this weekend. And first of all, let's also give a shout out to another sponsor, our friends over at Treetop Games here in Uvalde. They have got a cool event coming up this weekend. Matter of fact, it's tomorrow, and we'll be broadcasting live out there from 10 to 2. Corey, give me the details about the Uvalde Collectors Fest.
I am so excited about this, honestly. It's going to be this Saturday. We're going to be there broadcasting from 10 to 2, and it's going to be at the Lone Star Shopping Mall, which is right next door to Mr. Gaddy's at 404 West Main. And it's only $2 to come in. There's going to be so many cool collectors there and all kinds of the toys, the cards. Who's going to be there? Let me look. Incredible Collectibles will be there. Elite Toy Collectors, the Collection, Night Owl Artworks, MTC Collectibles, Pop and Patches. There's just going to be a ton of people there, and we're going to be giving away some cool prizes, too.
So, yeah, definitely y'all come out and join us if you're into, like, pop culture, toys, collectibles, game cards like Dungeons & Dragons, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, that kind of stuff. Magic the Gathering. They're going to be selling all that kind of stuff. Comic books, toys, and more. Pop figures are a big deal, too. I love just browsing those and having a big wish list. But and not only is it going to be for the Uvalde area, but they've got these vendors that you mentioned are coming from all over, including Del Rio and Eagle Pass and San Antonio. So, again, that's going to be a great time. Tomorrow, Saturday, the January 12th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is when we're going to be out there broadcasting live. The event, I believe, is from 10 to 6. Is that right?
That looks right. That sounds right. And
Okay.
I'm excited. I hope they have some one-piece cards there because that's what my son collects, and I'd love to surprise him with something cool.
And again, that place is at that new venue that's right there next to Mr. Gaddy's Pizza on the west side. What's the name of the place again, and what's the address?
404 West Main. I know that, and it's Lone Star Mall, right?
Okay, Lone Star Shopping Center, I think? Or Shopping...
Lone Star Shopping Mall.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah. I don't even think they have an official name, but the Lone Star, right there next to Mr. Gaddy's Pizza. Come out there and join us. All right, so let's get into the movies this week. Like we said earlier, all showing this weekend locally in Uvalde at the Forum 6 Theater. Mean Girls, rated PG-13. Migration, rated PG. Night Swim, rated PG-13. And The Beekeeper, rated R. So I initially was kind of excited the most about Mean Girls. Now, Mean Girls... rated PG-13. The original movie was written by Tina Fey, who you know as Liz Lemon from 30 Rock. And she also had a role as one of the teachers in the movie. You know, Mean Girls. It's about, mean teenage high school girls. Most of us have seen the early 2000s version. I believe there was a really bad sequel that nobody saw, Mean Girls 2. Cory, did you ever watch Mean Girls, the original?
I did.
What do you think about Mean Girls?
Oh, it's your typical high school bullies, and I like it. I like those kind of, shows like that. But there was more fun to it because, even the Mean Girls, they had some talent. They could sing. They kind of had something to back up their snottiness sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, no, I appreciated in the original film how, or the story generally is, they are mean and they're bullies, but I like those teen films that also show that those people in those places actually, they have a lot of pressure. It's put on them, by society because of the roles that they've been thrust into. And I think they kept it kind of real, and especially, at the end where everybody kind of, does their penance and whatnot. And of course, the original had Lindsay Lohan and also, who was the other girl from The Notebook? I'm forgetting her name right now. But it was a great cast for that time, and I enjoyed that movie. I have a daughter that was very young when that came out, but she grew up on my oldest daughter, and then my teenage daughter now has seen it as well. I rewatched it recently. Still a good watch. Really, really enjoyed it. Here's, and I was excited about the new one, but I don't know now because I've just found out that Mean Girls 2024, the new one in theaters now, it's based on the musical Mean Girls, which is based on the movie Mean Girls from 2004. So here we go. We got 20 years later, a remake of the movie, but it's actually a remake of the play based on the movie. So the plot is pretty much the same. So it's not a sequel. It's a kind of a reimagining, a reimaging. And it still stars Tina Fey as the teacher. And what's the black gentleman? What's his name? I forgot his name. But he's also, Tim Meadows, I think. He plays the black principal. They're still in it. So you got 2 original cast members and a whole bunch of new school kids. And guess what? Like we were talking about, a bunch of diversity. Like it's a bunch of girls and a gay guy, but now they come in a rainbow assortment of colors. So I don't know. I mean, to me, it's looking like a woke version of itself. And then of course, everything has a little bit more rainbows when you make it into a play, So I don't know if the red-blooded American, cisgender male is going to dig on Mean Girls 2024, but I'm willing to give it a shot because I like the source material, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, so it sounds more like it's going to be kind of the next group of kids, kind of history repeats itself. People don't really change. High school is high school. Mean Girls are always going to be there. It's always going to be this kind of thing. Yeah,
and it's the same story just for a new generation. So I kind of thought it might be, I thought it was going to be, when I saw Tina Fey and Tim Meadows on the original trailer, I thought it was them with the next generation, the next batch, you know what I mean, of kids in 2024. But instead, it's just the same story set in our current time. So all the characters' names are pretty much the same, and it's basically the same plot. So anyway, that's just kind of note going into it. So what's cool is that it is produced by Lorne Michaels from Saturday Night Live fame, and it was written by Tina Fey, who is a great writer. She, of course, wrote the original and was from 30 Rock. Like I said, everybody loves Liz Lemon. So good stuff. All right, so next movie. Migration, rated PG. Do you know anything about Migration? Have you seen any trailers or anything about it?
I have not. I know it's about birds.
Yeah, right.
It's animated.
Yeah. So basically, it's in theaters now. It's the kids' movie to see. So if you haven't taken your kids to go see a movie, this is the one to go see. Adventure comedy, but it's rated PG, so it's not rated G. It is an Illumination movie. That was me doing the Minion voice. Did you like that? Illumination! Is that the way they do that? Right. Anyway, so
oh my God.
If you like that, Despicable Me, Minions style of animation, that's what you're going to get from Migration. It stars Kumail Nanjiani. I don't know how you say that Pakistani guy. He's in a lot of movies. I can't think of right now. It's got Elizabeth Banks, who I'm actually in love with. Keegan-Michael Key, Aquafina the rapper, and Danny DeVito all provide the main voices of all these ducks and birds going through Migration. So I kind of feel like it's making plenty of money in the theater, so seems to be getting pretty good reviews. So if you haven't taken your kids out to the movies lately and they want to go see the kids' movie, that's the one to see. Migration in theaters now. So what else we got? Night Swim. Okay, this is something you probably want to see, right, Cory?
Yes, I want to see it. I saw the trailer, and it's like some of the same people that did The Nun and Megan, and those are some creepers. So I think it's going to be really good.
Now this movie has gotten generally, I looked at Rotten Tomatoes, generally negative reviews, but it's a horror movie, so they kind of tend to go that way unless they're extremely intelligent and smart, you know what I mean? I don't know, if they're just doing something creative, then those horror thrillers generally get better reviews. But I'm totally interested in this movie. I think it looks like a lot of fun. I think it looks like just kind of like mindless, scary stuff. I do like these horror movies where they kind of narrow in on a thing. Like, it looks to me like, how Final Destination movies are like all these crazy ways to die. It's kind of like, crazy ways to die in water. They've got the trailer. They're doing like Marco Polo, like spooky style. And everybody knows Marco Polo. But when they're all like, Marco, making it sound like a scary kind of catchphrase, that's kind of cool, So evidently the water in the pool is haunted, and the dad starts turning into an evil guy, and people are drowning, and there's kids, underage drinking, pool parties involved, and all that stuff. All the elements you need, right, for a nice, probably teenage date night horror movie. So
yeah. And if it got bad reviews, I'll love it.
There you go. See, you got to be honest. Some people just like bad films, and that's okay. As long as you enjoy it, it's worth your money. Let's see here. So Night Swim, rated PG-13 in theaters, also showing now at the Forum 6 here locally in Uvalde. Finally, The Beekeeper. Jason Statham is back. How cool is that? I
love him. He's my one-off.
So now we're talking about Jason Momoa earlier, Momoa's eating a lot of Samoas. But Jay Statham still look real good for his age, right?
He's beautiful. Yeah. I just love him, and he's so believable. He's not some big rough and tough, but man, he is so believable in his fight scenes. He's so good.
So what is it? What is it that Jason Statham does for you? Is it the accent? Is it his kind of brevity and like he's short with the words? Is it the fighting? Is it what is it you love? What is it that makes? Is it the shaved head? What is it that does it for you with Statham?
Just him. Just his whole. I don't know. I don't even know, because he's not like this, gorgeous,
right?
Typical model-looking guy or anything. He's
a manly man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I think he's so popular, because the women, he's good enough looking and tough and cool enough for the women to kind of love that, and then he's just ugly enough, just kind of just enough of a barker for the guys to be not, we're not threatened by him, as far as like, he's not Brad Pitt, you know what I mean? So he's not a pretty boy.
He's attainable.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. The Beekeeper is rated R, directed by David Ayer, who, this is great. Two of my favorite films from 2001, Training Day, and of course the original Fast and Furious, directed by David Ayer. And this movie looks like it could be, you know what I mean? That kind of, it's a lot of action, a lot of fighting. Cars, it's Jason Statham stuff. And what I really am excited about this, Jason Statham had that run for a few years where he was making all these cool movies, like Crank and what was the other one, the Transporter sequels. he was, banging for a while. And then he just kind of, I don't know, he hasn't really done his own thing much recently. So I feel like this is kind of a return to that Jason Statham form of just kind of cool, me on my own action film. So I'm excited about that. And basically, the plot, do you know what the plot is basically, like the basic summary?
He's like the cleanup guy. When the world goes wrong, he goes in and fixes it type of thing.
Yeah, one-man army kind of thing. Apparently, he's got a friend who commits suicide after falling for a phishing scam. So he gets scammed on the internet. His friend, this guy commits suicide, and basically the Beekeeper is out to kind of exact his revenge. So it's got shades of John Wick in there and whatnot. So I think it's going to be a fantastic film. Again, the Beekeeper, rated R, starring Jason Statham. That's kind of what's out in theaters right now. I think we've gone a little long here, so we want to wrap it up here for Fanboy Friday, our first return.
Sure, we can do that.
I think that's good. Yeah, and then maybe we'll get a good format coming up week over week and see what works out best for us. So for right now, it's me, Robert Miguel, and Cory Brooks talking about movie reviews and previews. So we just did a quick review of the best of 2023, and now give you an introduction as to what's new in theaters this weekend, especially taking a focus on what's showing here in Uvalde at the Forum 6 Theater. Again, in theaters this weekend, Mean Girls, rated PG-13, Migration, rated PG, Night Swim, rated PG-13, The Beekeeper, rated R. Thanks to Bobby Cervantes at the Forum 6 for sponsoring this, and also our friends at Treetop Games who are bringing you Uvalde Collectors Fest. Give me the details on that one more time, Cory, if you have that information handy.
Tomorrow from 10 to 2, we will be there, but the fest goes on until 6 o'clock, and it is at Lone Star Shopping Mall, 404 West Main, next to Mr. Gaddy's.
So, yeah, I guess that'll wrap it up. Fanboy Friday, again, every Friday, here with me, Robert Miguel, and Cory Brooks. Unless we get a guest, I might, get a guest reviewer on here. But for now, it's the home team, Robert and Cory, every Friday, giving you movie reviews and previews, and just going to talk about pop culture in general to get you an idea of what's in theaters or on your TV at home. So, Cory, thanks for joining me today, and we're only gonna get better from here, right?
Yes, all right, it'll be fun.
All right, that wraps up Fanboy Friday with Robert Miguel and Cory Brooks.